Save money now and buy these Nintendo Switch games before it's too late. I have years of experience buying games at the end of past console generations for cheap prices, and now some of them are worth hundreds, if not thousands. So I've spent hours going through the full Switch catalogue to let you know which games I feel will go up in value and the reasons why. Stick around until near the end of the video, as I've included a bonus item that isn't quite a game, but it's something you need to act on now and collect while the time is right. Okay, let's get to the games. ARMS. We all remember ARMS, right? Right? Yes, ARMS didn't have the most success when it came out, but in terms of collectability, this is a great little title for several reasons. One, it's a first-party Nintendo developed and published game. It's always going to hold value in some way, shape or form then. It's also the first in its series. There may not be another ARMS sequel down the line, we haven't heard anything on that, so this could be a one and done from Nintendo, and I think that'll probably start to increase its value up even higher. Snipper Clips. Anyone that was around during the launch period of the Nintendo Switch probably remembers this as a downloadable title, but Snipper Clips did actually get a physical release that has its DLC additional pack on the cartridge. That's one of the reasons why I think this will be valuable. It's all included as one package. I don't believe there will have been a big print run for this. Again, this is published directly by Nintendo, and with it being previously a digital-only title, I don't think many people know that this one actually got a physical release, and I do think it will increase up over the years. Cadence of Hyrule. This one is a unique little game, and the more kind of unique twists you have, the more value the game seems to have across time. This one, for several reasons, I think will hold its value or actually increase in value. So first of all, again, I don't think there would have been a massive run in terms of the print for this. Secondly, it is published by Nintendo, but this one has an interesting story behind it. It is a Zelda game, a Nintendo first-party IP that's been developed by a developer outside of Nintendo. Now, Nintendo have done this a couple of times during the Switch's lifespan. We've seen Mario and Rabbids coming from Ubisoft, and we've seen this Crypt of the Necrodancer become a Zelda game. And with this being a Zelda title, it's something that inevitably will hold its value or will have some type of intrinsic value to people. People that are going for a full Zelda collection will need to pick this one up. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country. This one, again, is a Nintendo published game, so someone going for a full Nintendo published collection on Switch will need to pick this one up. There are a lot of fans of the Xenoblade series as well, so it will intrinsically hold its value. And we can already see little bits of an increase in this one. It is harder to come by. I think there was a lower print run, and traditionally DLC packs are usually download only. So the fact that this is a slight bit of a rarity or something slightly different, that it's got its own physical release for this DLC, will probably stand it in good stead to become something that is worth a good bit more value. If you can see this one for cheap, I would definitely try and pick it up. Even if it is creeping up in price now, if you can get your hands on a sealed copy, now's the time to do so. Astral Chin. This is a really fun little game. It flew under the radar, I would say, a little bit, but it is a fun title. It's exclusive to the Switch. Again, that will help it hold its value. In terms of sales numbers, I don't think it done spectacularly well. I don't think it was a failure by any means for the type of game that it is. But with this one coming from Platinum Games, obviously they have a big fan base themselves. Again, you'll get collectors of just Platinum Games that will need to pick this one up. People that want exclusives that came out on the Switch. And to be honest, it is just a good game. I do think this will start to rise in price. Games that tend to fit into those subcategories that we've just talked about, Nintendo exclusive, done by a beloved developer example, they do tend to hold their value on previous systems and previous generations. So I do think now that the price has dropped somewhat on this one, it is definitely time to pick it up in 2023, going into 2024, before we see the Switch 2. AI The Somnium Files and AI The Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative are two games that I do think are going to fly under the radar and will probably start to increase in value over time. These are Spike Chunsoft games, and traditionally in the past we have seen Spike Chunsoft games get a lot higher in value once the console generations end, and they're usually some of the harder titles to come by. These games are very well reviewed as well, and I don't believe they would have got a big print run. So adding this all together with a beloved developer coming out on Nintendo Switch in physical, which tends to be where a lot of people want to play these type of games on a Nintendo system, I definitely think these are two that would be interesting to pick up. And they have kind of held their value a fair bit already, which is probably a good sign coming to the end of this generation that they will start to increase further. The World Ends With You Final Remix and Neo The World Ends With You. There are the two titles in the series, so Final Remix is that remaster from the Nintendo DS generation. It was one of the rarer games, or a game that held its value quite well on the DS and was quite beloved. So I do think that has a chance of keeping the value relatively high here. As for its sequel, Neo The World Ends With You, maybe wasn't received as well as they would have liked, but with this coming from a beloved series, and with it being developed by Square Enix and published by them, it is something that will probably keep its value across the next console generation. Anyone that wants to collect this series as a whole is going to need both parts 1 and 2, obviously, so being able to have them on the one system is really going to help hold the value of each title. I do think they'll complement each other and it'll keep the value steady. And the great thing about these ones is the games are really easy to come by now for pretty cheap prices. I think specifically the Neo The World Ends With You is very, very affordable at the moment, but expect that price to skyrocket in years to come. And I did promise one surprise entry at the start of the video that I would tell you about, and I think this one is also flying a bit under the radar. It's something that isn't quite a game, but it is a game. And we're talking about Nintendo Labo. Now, the software itself for Nintendo Labo I don't think will be that rare. There are a lot of people that have had the kits and maybe traded them in, or they've got rid of the cardboard, and there's copies of the actual software floating around. But what I'm talking about is the actual cardboard sets themselves. I think now in 2023 and going into 2024, it's time to start pouncing on these sets and getting them while the going is good. With these being made out of cardboard, with them being promoted primarily to kids, and probably not being produced in massive numbers, I think it's going to be hard coming across sets that are fully complete. Coming across sets that aren't damaged and aren't used is going to be very hard in years to come. Also, there has been a big reduction in these sets. When they first came out, some of the pricing on them I think was a bit ridiculous given the cardboard that was on offer, but you can pick these sets up for as low as, I think in the UK, I've seen around 15 to 20 pounds for some of the sets right now. So it's time to pounce on these. It's time to add them to your collection. Even if you're not super interested in it, it is a Nintendo first party item, and it's something that you can leave sealed, and it will probably increase in value across the years. Let me know in the comments below what games you think are going to increase in value, or if you own any of the games we've talked about today. And like and subscribe on the video, it will help me to produce more content like this, and hopefully attract more people to the video that are like-minded people such as yourself. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.